Welcome to the Mythic Movie Maker podcast, where we analyze movies from a mythological perspective. My name is John, and this is my brother Nick.
Hello.
Nick, what movie are we reviewing today?
Today we are looking at the third Daniel Craig James Bond movie, Skyfall.
Yes, in what I'm calling the Bond apotheosis.
hmm We have 10 more years of James Bond movies, by the way.
What do you mean?
This came out in 2012. The last one is 2021.
Oh, really? So it took 10 years to do two Bond movies?
Yeah, we got the time in between the movies is actually much longer than I thought it was.
Yeah. How long has it been since then? And the current year where we have not had the guidance of James Bond since Daniel Craig. I
But
felt empty.
const like I feel like it's every 2 or 3 months that we get like a headline off of some terrible website trying to predict the next James Bond.
Serious question. Could we blame the lack of James Bond movies for the world descending into conflict?
Probably not.
Okay,
Uh,
I
James
would
Bond
agree
has
with
been
that.
pretty popular for a really long time, and there's been conflict and non-conflict periods of time in that, what, 100 years?
So you're saying James Bond and geopolitical conflict are unrelated?
Yeah, I think a sexy super spy is just an evergreen concept. But do you have a quote?
You know what, Nick? I actually do have a quote. Do you have a quote?
I do. Mine is one of those
Oh,
ones where they essentially look at the camera and tell you
yeah.
the theme of the movie.
Is it set by
Okay,
Javier Bardem?
no.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have two different very obvious quotes. Nice. Let's get yours
Okay.
first.
Okay, mine. This is the unofficial quote. Yours obviously is the official quote of
No,
the
of
Movie
course.
Maker podcast, but for the unofficial, just for fun quote, now they don't eat coconut anymore. Now they eat rat. You change their nature.
That was yeah, that was good. That was a fun little story. A good way to introduce that character.
Yeah, I
Uh
like that because they basically said, yes, we're doing the bad guy telling you his whole philosophy and plan, but we're
yeah.
gonna do it interestingly. We're gonna take that bait and then we're gonna make it better than it's ever been.
Yeah, like the last movie had a villain that wasn't all that interesting and they've decided to go full Doctor Evil with this guy.
Yeah.
My quote is earlier in the movie.
Okay.
Uh Always makes me feel a little melancholy. A grand old warship being ignominiously hauled away for scrap.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. In fact, yeah, that was. They could have just left it at the picture. Like that.
Yeah,
That one annoyed me a little bit, but
yeah. Yeah, like it's essentially just the writer taking control of a character for a few seconds and telling
yeah.
you what the movie's all about.
But
Well, he's also like they're also uh in like an art gallery, like just handing a gun to another guy. Like that's over.
yeah. Yeah, it was quite conceived, or I should
Yeah,
say
contrived.
contrived.
Yeah,
They wanted us to talk about it, so let's
and
talk
here we
about
are.
it.
Yeah. So like here's sort of an ongoing theme of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies are leaning on the cultural history of James Bond in the mind of the audience.
hmm
Because the last two movies were James Bond's first mission as a 007 agent and his very next mission after that. So
hmm
this is very early on in his 00 career. And then in this movie, he is there like oh, you're over the hill. You're too old. You've been in the game too long. Like we need to you need to like put up your boots and let the young guns take over. Both for Bond and M. And like we as the audience see none of that shit. We are like it's his first mission, his second mission right after that, and then you're over the hill.
Hmm.
So we're kind of it's kind of leaning on the old history of James Bond movies. Like you would expect, like it's almost like the movie is expecting you to fill in the gaps between the last two movies and this movie with, the Sean Connery and the Pierce Brosnan misadventures.
Well, yeah.
Because you
Well,
because
the
you got
whole,
because there's like the Aston Martin that shows up later with the
yeah,
the evacuation seat and the machine gun headlights.
yeah. And then that fits in with the, what Q said to James Bond, where he handed James Bond the pistol, and the only piece of technology that was a part of the pistol was that it was a thumbprint. Only James Bond's thumbprint could
Yeah.
could make it fire. And James Bond was like unimpressed by the tech. And then GQ said, "We don't go in for exploding pins anymore. That's kind of old hat, you know."
Hmm.
And then here, and then here James Bond is driving his Aston Martin back to sort of, it's sort of the land before even the old James Bond. The old James Bonds never talked about James Bond's childhood at all or anything. So it's almost
Yeah.
like the Aston Martin was a double entendre vehicle to get James Bond through his past self, which is like the
Uh-huh.
Sean Connery James Bonds, and back before those, even like back to the source. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of talk about that, like back to
Of
his
like,
like
yeah,
childhood self.
uh, of all the things that like made him into James Bond.
Hmm.
Like his parents dying and how him being an orphan made him a good double O agent.
Yeah. And sort of like the cave that he kind of went through it was kind of a ritual almost. Like his mother and father died, and then he went into this cave, this
Yeah, he's his
darkness.
his cocoon where he metamorphosized into
Exactly.
uh a killer.
A killer, would you say? Would you say that made him into a killer, or it just made him into sort of someone that's super tough?
Yeah, okay, well we'll go with that. Uh, I think super tough and a killer can be used interchangeably.
And they never said how his mother and father were killed, but they were killed maybe by a person.
It just didn't occur to me that like the way his parents died was important at all. Like it
No,
was just
it
like,
it,
oh
it isn't.
yeah,
It
yeah.
isn't.
It's like, oh, parents died. Okay, whatever. That's his origin story. Cool. Let's
But
move.
if a person killed them, you would think that James Bond would seek revenge on them.
Yeah, like thankfully they didn't go like full Batman and have him like, oh, his parents died to a terrorist attack, so now he's now he's James Bond. He hunts terrorists.
Yeah.
Like that would have been very stupid. So I'm glad we. It's
Well,
almost
did
it's almost good that it's a little vague. So, okay, so I don't know if it's a good idea to bring this up first or like later, but the do you, do you think the name Skyfall has anything to do with the Chicken Little story?
ooh, the Chicken Little story. Do you know that it's one of my favorite stories?
I did not know that, but I didn't know the story very well, so I read a synopsis of it for this conversation.
Oh, interesting, because my theory on the Chicken Little story is that it has been changed from its original meaning. The ending,
Well, the
particularly.
the fox, the
Yeah.
fox isn't part of modern retellings,
Yeah.
but so the idea of announcing doom
Yes.
and you know bringing this procession of other rhyming name birds
Hmm.
to the king to uh, to to help help solve this problem, and then to be fooled by a fox
Yes,
who leads you all to his den.
that is the old version. That's not in
Yeah,
children's books anymore.
I don't know what the new versions look like, but the old version seems like a good fable because there's a very strong message.
And what is the message to Chicken Little?
So the message is that overreacting and assuming the worst makes you vulnerable to being fooled.
Exactly. I would say it's a warning against alarmism.
Yeah,
And yeah, so in the old version, Chicken Little thought the sky was falling because an acorn hit his head.
yeah.
And he told all the other animals and got them all riled up. And then the fox said, come here, it's safe inside my cave. Come here, get in." And everyone, when they were all riled up, they went into the fox's cave and he ate them all.
Oh, it's that is slightly different from the uh substantially similar though, where like the version that I read was that the procession of animals was going to tell the king about the sky falling, and hopefully the king would be able to fix the problem.
Uh-huh.
And then the fox said, "Oh, I know where the king's castle is. I can bring you there."
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
But I
similar,
guess
similar.
yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, like but so do you think that that story maps onto this movie intentionally or not?
Well, here's where it does is that is the way that the because Spectre or the bad guys throughout the whole series, they are a paper tiger. Their only power comes from
Like
basically,
obfuscation?
yeah, and weak
They have to hide
mind.
in the shadows.
Yeah. And well, and also like remember how he said that he took over the island? He
Yeah.
said that there was some problem at the chemical factory and everyone had to evacuate and then got the island. Like that's how he uses power is basically by creating a lie and then everyone since the lie is so dire, everyone thinks that it's more prudent to believe the lie, you know.
Yeah.
And so and that's how he's able to gain power. But it's air. All that it really needs is someone to call his bluff, and he's rendered useless. And they also kind of brought up like, what makes British survive is being tough, is that you're able to be a country for 1,000 years,
Yeah.
because
Which is the exact opposite conclusion that we drew, or at least I drew in the last movie, or maybe even
mm,
the first movie, which is that like what makes Britain powerful in the modern era is that they're wily.
that is also true though. I mean, they both could be
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's like James Bond is both of those things. He is very tough and he's also very wily. Like he does the Home Alone thing of
oh yeah.
turning the house into a fun house of horrors.
I was actually like, while that was going on, I was like doing a side analysis of Home Alone, what that movie was trying to say. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is like a classic story for a wily underdog is
Hmm.
to like prepare and build traps, and then like your stronger, bigger opponent gets lured into your house of death,
Hmm.
and then you defeat them through all this preparation that you've done.
Well, yeah, and I think it has to do with like home turf. Well, so like Javier Bardem, we're jumping around a lot, but it's fine.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing about talking about themes instead of plot is that you kind of
Yeah.
have to you have to start with a theme and then watch as it proceeds through the whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. So Javier Bardem, something happened when Hong Kong got turned over to from Britain to China. where it seemed like that was a process of peace.
Hmm.
And it seemed like Javier Bardem got trapped in the shadows and he didn't want peace. And so M cut him loose. His ties to Britain were severed forever. So he is this guy that's walking around that has no ties anywhere. And so he actually was British at a certain point, but he became sort of an individual with no nation. And there's power that comes from that, you know, because you can just dance around the world, do
Well, yeah,
whatever you want.
he talks about things like, oh, I get to pick my own missions,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
like you're not doing missions. You're just being a criminal. Like you're not a secret agent anymore.
Well, that's so
You're
judgmental, Nick.
yeah, like it's he makes such a big deal of being like above all the agent stuff when he's kind of like clinging to it.
Yeah, he is. He's like, he loves being a super spy. And when the super spy, like, when the super spy stuff was done, he wanted to keep it going. And so he created his own world where he could be a super spy forever. And I don't think James Bond wants that. I think he sees being a super spy as a grave necessity that he wants to move on from eventually, you
Yeah,
know?
it is pretty clear. Like at this point, they've brought up the duty to country thing quite a few times.
Yeah.
So to me like it seems like authorial intent is that James Bond is doing this for patriotic reasons. Like that is his primary motivator.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying. And it, yeah. But in this movie, because and yeah, in this movie they also brought that up a couple times. I forget exactly what the quotes were, but oh yeah, when Ralph Fiennes asked James Bond like, "Hey, you could have just you had the perfect out, man. Like everybody thought you were dead, even us. Why'd you come back?" It's because he has a duty to his country. Javier Bardem and Daniel Craig were they're sort of seen as a mirror of each other or two sides of the same coin. Like they're almost
Yeah,
brothers, I would say. You
yeah.
know?
Well, they like Javier Bardem is really obsessed with his relationship with M. Like where James Bond calls her ma'am, Javier calls her mother or
Yeah.
mom or
Yeah, they were both betrayed by her, you know. That
yeah.
was like the opening scene of the movie was very meaningful.
Very clear betrayal, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Um
but like to Bond, like the decision was made to sort of sacrifice him for the country, and
exactly.
to him that is forgivable.
Yeah.
And to Javier Bardem, like or Silva, uh,
Silva, that's right.
the personal relationship between him and M should have taken precedence before duty to country,
Hmm.
and that's kind of what radicalized him uh, to be himself.
Yeah, because he felt like yeah, and that's not correct. You know, that isn't correct because it's so selfish, you know? Like imagine Britain as like a I guess a family would be different,
But like
but
yeah, even in the first movie, Bond sort of addresses the fact that like double O agents have a short lifespan, so
yeah.
at least you won't have to live with your mistake for long.
Yeah. He knew what he was
Uh,
getting into. Yeah.
and Silva like wanted to be a big super spy doing super spy things, and then also wanted the loyalty be to him first and country second.
Hmm.
Like he
Yeah.
wanted like to have his cake and eat it too.
What makes these agents honorable is they stake their life for their country, like something greater than them. And really, you have to live your life in service of something greater than you, or
Yeah.
else you will be miserable. Like you have whether it's a cause or it's your family or it's something huge like or God, or something,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because once you start living your life in service of yourself, you self-destruct. You kind of live in ruins. I really loved the image of Silva in the ruins of the city that he took over. It was horrible. Like
Yeah. Like
it
it's
was decayed and destroyed and you
and
you
you can tell that he loves it though, that he's like that this environment that he feels that this environment really fits him.
well, because he created it, but he created it through destruction. And it's sort of this evil place that was created from evil. Compare that to, the castle in Scotland that James Bond goes to at the end. And it's like this vast, beautiful countryside with these stone buildings that are just like they seem like they've been there for since the medieval times or something, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a haunting. It's haunting, but it's also beautiful. And it's sort of like natural. It's surrounded by nature, not decay. It's like new growth and stuff. If you view James Bond and Javier Bardem as like two sides of a coin, then I think that that's sort of key to it is Javier Bardem destroys things and calls it his kingdom, you know,
Yeah.
and and it's itinerant, like he can move anywhere, like the world is his oyster pretty much.
Hmm.
And that's an advantage. And James Bond in a way is disadvantaged because he's rooted to
Yeah, to
Britain.
Britain.
And Javier Bardem tries to corrupt that because if he corrupts Britain to the roots, then James Bond is dead. But the roots are also a sort James Bond's source of power, you know.
Yeah, like it's like him knowing this location intensely well is what gives him the
Exactly.
power
Yeah.
to defend it. But I also think that like I think the movie sets up Javier Bardem and Ralph Fiennes as alternate futures for James Bond.
Oh, interesting.
Because Ralph Fiennes, Mallory, like he's kind of presented as this like stuffy politician guy that is there to poo-poo all the fun spy stuff.
Hmm.
But then like he's like he takes M's side in the big conference. His past is not like secret agent stuff, but like military special ops kind of badass guy. And you know when Silva attacks the conference, like he instantly goes into like big hero mode
Hmm.
and you know acquires a gun from one of the bad guys and starts defending M.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this is presented almost like a like obviously it's never going to happen because James Bond is always going to be a secret agent in every movie he's in. But like this could be here's an alternate future. Like here's a thing that this could be you. You know, you don't have to just do secret agent stuff until you either die or turn evil.
Hmm.
Like you can, you know, there's a way that you can sort of serve your country while also not killing yourself.
Well, so you don't think that they're gonna do like a bureaucrat James Bond 5-part series for
Well, like not a movie, but as like a television miniseries.
Oh yeah, it needs the
Yeah.
well, that is kind of Jack Ryan. It's like
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and the thing is like you kind of need someone in that Ralph because the Ralph Fiennes character I didn't understand very well. I didn't actually really think too much about him until the very end where it's like, "Oh, M? Okay."
Oh yeah, this is he yeah, like in a practical sense, he's in the movie because probably because Judi Dench wanted to pass the torch on this, and
Mm,
you want to introduce the character and give him have him do some cool stuff before swan songing your old M.
yeah. I also kind of felt like this movie was supposed to be the last movie. It had that
I,
feel to it.
well, yeah, like it's like this long history of being James Bond is has been so taxing, and now I can like Bond, why didn't you retire on the beach like you should have?
Hmm.
Um, this definitely has the feel of like the third movie in a trilogy.
Yeah.
In fact, there probably should have been some more James Bond adventures to like fill out the space in between like his first mission, his second mission, and his last mission.
Well, I thought that too, because like they like you said, they just out of nowhere, like it was like Casino Royale, he was brand new. And in this movie, they're already talking about him being too old. And it's like I don't know, I felt like this was supposed to be the last movie and Quantum of Solace did so badly, they were like, okay, we have to make a really good movie next, or else the series
Yeah,
is over. There was Ralph Fiennes who was in that on that board that was grilling M,
yeah.
and he was helping out. And then there was this girl that was doing all the grilling of her and was kind of acting very political and duplicitous.
Yeah, like she was
Uh,
trying to score points for the camera. Like that was I think the way
well,
that was framed. Like for the in-universe camera.
yeah. I also felt like she was maybe part of the bad guys. Like she was actually like with the bad guys and trying to undermine what the good guys were doing.
I think I like to me like it seemed like she was doing that. Like obviously Judy like M is a heroic character who is portrayed as being hyper competent and intensely loyal.
Hmm.
Like she is the good guy, and all we know about this other lady is that she is against the good guy.
What makes Mallory a better M than the old M? Like, did M do anything wrong in this movie?
Um,
Or is he a better M? Or is it just like a natural sort of because M died, so
yeah, I think it's just like a passing of the torch type thing. Like the biggest mistake that she makes in the movie is at the very beginning, where she makes the call to shoot Bond,
hmm.
where that went really poorly because Bond was probably going to win that fist fight.
Yeah.
I think he was actively strangling the guy while he was being shot, and so I think that was her being punished for like this M being punished for her lack of trust. Like if
Or her
she
lack of faith.
lack of faith, yeah. If she put if
Because
she
she
if
trusts
she
she trusts Bond, but
yeah, if she had faith in Bond, then she would have succeeded,
hmm.
or Britain would have succeeded. The mission would have gone well. So I think that was probably her biggest mistake. Maybe her decision to hold on when she should be retired. The movie doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be like a lot of effort is made to make Ralph Fiennes sympathetic,
Hmm.
despite the fact that he's kind of acting against the interest of the heroes by trying to keep Bond off the force and by trying to get M to retire. So despite all that, he is kind of treated heroically.
Yeah.
So his decision to get M out of office was probably the right thing to do.
Well,
But the movie never shows M losing her edge like in any significant way.
I would say maybe she does because I think she is shaken by Silva coming back and maybe her decision to shoot Bond at the beginning or her decision which led to Bond being shot at the beginning was influenced in some way by the fact that it's her fault that the list got out. because she let Silva go, and Silva was the one that started all this. His whole thing was, like you said, it was a personal vendetta against M. And so she
Hmm.
kind of did cause all this, and she knows it. And so maybe that clouded her judgment. Maybe she is too close to these agents, like views them like children when she shouldn't be, you know. And
Yeah,
she
like
doesn't show it, but this is getting like deep. But maybe Silva was her favorite, you know, and James Bond isn't her favorite. Like she still like lingers on Silva. It's like Boromir and Faramir,
oh
and
yeah.
there's that whole thing going on, you know.
She definitely like the notion that she's kind of shaken by his return. I think is kind of like that reading is kind of buoyed by the fact that she kind of lies to him,
Who
M, or
lies
lies
to?
to uh I don't remember if she's talking directly to Silva or to Bond, but where she's just like, "Oh, I don't even remember you."
Oh,
Yeah, like and then it's like, "Oh, that like I think I recall your name. I think we might have had an agent by the name of Silva."
hmm.
And then like later on, she's like, she goes through the whole story detail by detail about like what happened.
Yeah, yeah. Every detail she remembers exactly.
Yeah,
Well, and that is just one of those things overall I love about the movie because this is a movie about spies and espionage. And in that game, you always have to be putting on a face and you always have to be concealing what your true intentions.
yeah,
And that's one thing that the characters do in these movies is they're all very unreliable if you look at their things they say. So you have to kind of watch what they do. Well, now that I start thinking about it, so if M is is mother, wouldn't Mallory be father? Wouldn't he represent the father in the relationship? And like when you see him and M squabbling about like he's
it's
not
like mom
ready.
and dad having a fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like viewing M as mother is like Silva's mistake
Yeah.
and not Bond's mistake.
So how does Bond view her?
Probably is like probably like what she is like someone whose sort of view on duty and country mostly aligns with his, who's in power but deserves to be there. Like Bond
Hmm.
seems like he's kind of he's a little anti-authoritarian. Like he disobeys orders a lot in over the course of these
Yeah.
movies.
Well,
But
that was
he
his psychological evaluation said that.
yeah, but he definitely seems to respect M and more than anything respect her motivations, even if he doesn't like her all of her calls. Like he
He
never at
doesn't
any
take
point.
her personally. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't take anything she does like personally.
yeah, like when she essentially ordered him to get shot, he wasn't like, "Oh, you shot me." Like I'm so wounded. Like I'm so like that hurt my feelings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's like you should have trusted that I would have gotten this done. How could you think so little of my skills?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, and the real question is why didn't she?
Like that, yeah, that is clearly a mistake, and that could actually be like, funnily enough, like her choosing to do the more callous thing might have been her losing her edge. Like the stakes were so high that she wanted to remove the gamble from the equation and like take the sure thing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because
And if she had just like put her chips down and bet on Bond, then everything would have been fine. Like, but lose like that, like having less of a tolerance for taking the gamble is was her biggest mistake.
yeah, because and it's life is so hard because if you have one philosophy for life and you just go through life with your one philosophy and you just ram through every solution or every problem with that solution,
Uh-huh.
you're going to run into so many problems that don't align with that philosophy. And the philosophy is just not helpful.
Yeah.
And so that's actually the more risky option to go
Yeah.
non-risk in some situations. Sometimes you just have to be risky and bet big, or else you're just going to get slowly eaten away, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the game of risk, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's also I was thinking poker.
Oh yeah,
Like
poker too.
that's,
Yeah, that would
yeah,
be.
like it's
Well,
like
I've been
if
yeah.
like if you just put the ante in every round and you never bet anything, then you're just gonna bleed chips until you walk away with nothing.
Or if you just play good hands, everyone will figure out, oh, he only plays when he has like aces. So, um,
So fold instantly when you see him bet.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So life is so much more dynamic than that. Risk off is the most risky option. And it's counterintuitive, but
Yeah, that's kind of how I read her the uh the opening scene. I'd also like to point out it's not really like all that relevant to the conversation, but the action intro was predictably good as always.
yeah.
It was a good action scene with a non-verbal story to it. Very fun and exciting and good to watch.
Yeah,
So
it was really well set up. Like the whole situation was set up really well.
the other agent that gets shot that Bond abandons. It's like Bond is like seeing into his immediate future where
Explain that a little more. I forget.
because like there's an age there's another agent there who got shot in the chest that Bond like staunches the bleeding and then runs away. Like M makes the call of like, no, the mission is more important, let him die.
Mm,
And then like literally like 5 or 10 minutes later, the exact same thing happens to Bond where like she tells Moneypenny the mission is more important. We can sack Bond.
hmm. But doing that too much creates the opportunity for people like Silva.
Yeah, like it's like if you have no loyalty to your agents, then you're just gonna end up creating double agents.
Hmm.
And I feel like the like that initial scene where Bond really wants to stay there and stabilize the guy, and M tells him to move on. Like to me, it seemed framed like that, like the right thing, the correct pathway would have been to stay there and fix him up.
Well, I think this is where Bond isn't an American character because American movies have a far different view of that sort of thing. Americans are like
Yeah, we're gonna
our
save
motto,
everyone.
yeah, our motto is no man left behind, you
Yeah,
know. And so like we will send the entire US force wherever and even kill dozens of people like have like dozens of people killed in the process. So it's actually kind of doesn't make any
stupid.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
But
it is like the American thing to you know to blow up a city to get our one guy out.
yeah, it kind of allows us to go out and go out in the unknown, and
Yeah,
stuff. And then with Britain, it's sort of like you're all expendable, but you're for jolly old England though.
yeah.
So you're dying for a
It
cause.
yeah. It's
And
it's 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 like we don't have the people to spare. Uh,
yeah.
so you're gonna have to stiff upper lip and tough it out.
Yeah. And for the British to believe that, the cause has to be so grand, that
Mhm.
what they're defending has to be so grand that they would die for it. It can't be corrupted, or else the whole thing is over. You mentioned that, Bond was hurt physically
Yeah,
when he was shot. And he was basically not at his best the whole movie. He was somewhat incapacitated.
Yeah.
He was not able to do like enough pull-ups. He wasn't able to shoot well. Um,
I would suspect that he would have failed the psych evaluation at his
Regardless.
best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has never, yeah. He's always been anti-authoritarian. Well, to some degree, because he kind of believes that the idea of Britain is more important than any of the people telling him what to do. And
Yeah.
he seems to understand that better than even they do, to some degree.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, Bond believes that.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's uh like every time he goes off script, it's not because he's trying to save his own skin or do something fun and exciting or anything selfish. He almost always makes these anti-authoritarian decisions for the good of the mission.
Yeah, and every girl that he hooks up with is for the glory of England. Um,
Yeah, like being involved with the least characterized Bond girl.
they're getting less
Uh
and less.
yeah,
Like I wasn't
like
even
like
sure if Moneypenny was the Bond girl or the Chinese girl.
there's always multiple Bond girls. Like
I know,
in every
but
movie
usually
there's
there's like a subordinate Bond girl and the main Bond girl.
yeah, there's Bond girl that dies to raise the stakes, and then there's Bond girl that lives through the movie. Because there are some like winky naughty conversations,
Yeah.
winky naughty with two D's, uh, with between Bond and Moneypenny, where they're like winking at each other and they're like sharing a little smile and like where it seems intended you're intended to believe that they've been with each other.
Yeah, and like sleeping with each other does sort of form a pact. And it's also kind of a secret pact too, because that happens behind closed doors. So it's also there's something very spy-like about that relationship. And it is
Yeah,
funny because it isn't a relationship that men have with other men. And that's why it was so interesting to me that I guess we should talk about
the gay
now
part.
the gay part
Yeah,
with Javier
I
Bardem.
I like is that I like is this Javier trying to to out Bond
That is
by
exactly what I thought. That's what I
turning him
thought.
over to his side with seduction and
Here's what I thought. Is that what your thought is? Or are you just
my
you
my no. My thought is really uninteresting, which
okay.
is that uh regardless of the gender of the hero, it's always this weird creepy moment when the villain implies that they want to fuck the hero. So I think it's I don't think it's like about the gayness. I think it's just like, oh, it's this it's like if you know it makes the villain even more of a slime ball if they're like trying to fuck the hero.
But well, here's what's interesting though, is isn't that what James Bond does to women he's interested in getting information from or
He seems to be mostly like it's not consistent, but at least in the Craig movies, he seems to be on the receiving end of a lot of the flirting.
well, what about with Vesper? Like she was like cold to him at first.
Yeah, he won her over with his confidence, like the going to the expensive hotel and being like, "Oh, we're teachers on sabbatical and we just won the lottery." Haha, isn't that funny? Yeah, like it's like all of the flirting from James Bond is seems to be well received. You know, like
Well,
he's
I think that Bond kind of met his match a little bit with Javier Bardem because Javier Bardem not only knew all of Bond's secrets, like his personal secrets about who he is and stuff, but he knows all of his training because because part of Bond's training actually is in human intelligence. It is like, how do you get information? Well, part of that is by flirting and coaxing it out of people with honey. And that's he uses that with women to sort of disarm them. And
Yeah.
so in a way, Javier Bardem doing that to James Bond is saying, not only do I know all about you, but I know all about your training too, which you rely so heavily on.
Yeah, it's like look, I'm using your own tricks. Isn't this funny?
He was a double agent that had been corrupted. So he corrupts the training by using this thing that James Bond is using successfully on a female, and Javier Bardem is using on a man, and he's using that to sort of disarm James Bond and catch him off guard. And then James Bond, do you remember what James Bond says to that?
Is he something along the lines of like, oh, you don't know what my preferences are or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. How do you know it's not
So,
my first time?
oh yeah, that yeah, something yeah, like leaving the door open in a way that's kind of playful, but not like, but still unclear.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like that
And
was
so that was a cool little spar,
yeah,
because after that, Javier Bardem never did anything gay again, and he immediately just dropped that whole tactic.
yeah. Like I, to be entirely honest, I think that the like that could have just been jettisoned entirely. Like that.
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. You're right though, it wasn't necessary, but it was interesting. And it kind of did reveal like to me like, oh, this sleeping with the girls, it's a tactic that they teach them. You
Yeah,
know?
like it could have been that. Like to me, it was kind of like a power thing. Well, it's clearly a power thing.
Yeah,
Where he's like, I
clearly.
I'm in control. You're handcuffed to a chair. Let me rub you and touch you just to let you know that like that I can do whatever I want, sort of thing.
Hmm.
So that like in the end, like you're saying, where he knows everything about James Bond. Like it's in the very next scene with the shot glass. Like he even like points out, it's like, oh, it's look, it's your favorite whiskey. Here, have a
Yeah.
sip.
Yeah, exactly. And then he gives him a gun with a giant barrel on it because he knows that he got injured recently. And so like he could barely shoot with like a pistol. And then this big heavy gun, he had no chance
Yeah, like
of
this
being that
like
accurate.
this like flintlock thing.
Well, okay, so that actually goes to another what I was saying earlier about the movie always does such a good job of saying two things at the same time, you know.
Hmm.
When Bond is injured physically, it reflects his mental injury, his emotional injury that M has given him. His scar is a scar that reminds him of M's sort of lack of faith in him and
Yeah.
her sort of coldness toward him. And so, the whole movie, this is the thing that he's been struggling with is his relationship with M.
Well, yeah, like the like when he gets the bullet out from his chest, he's literally reopening old wounds. But
Yeah, well, okay, here's another topic I'd like to open up. This idea of struggle making you more powerful. Like that's a concept that appears over and over in the movie. Is, it like with James Bond when he was a kid, his parents were killed. He went into the cave and then came out more powerful from the experience of his parents dying. And here's another thing I picked up on is, he got shot and then he went into the water in the beginning, and he was able to just barely survive that. So that at the very end, he was trapped on the ice, and his solution to get out of that was to shoot the ice and go into the water because he knew he'd already been through that before.
Hmm.
And so he could survive it. And the bad guy presumably hadn't had an experience as profound as drowning from a betrayal as James Bond, so he died. It's like in Princess Bride, when the guy taught himself, he tried all the poisons so that he could be immune to them. Now
Yeah.
James Bond is immune to falling in water, for instance. Well, because they were going through the same situation, but it was a situation James Bond was immune to, and the bad guy wasn't. So James Bond wins. And so it's just the idea of like struggle is good. Struggle, getting into situations and getting coming out the other side, like it makes you view having bad things happen to you in a different light. It's like you grow stronger from those negative things.
Like
But but I
specifically
but
like
I
him
I
him
was
like
connecting the water. Like when I saw him underwater again, I was like, holy shit, this is the same as the very beginning. But except but at the end, James Bond chose the water. And as opposed to the beginning, he was thrown into the water. And it literally is like throwing a kid in a pool in the deep end and seeing that's how you learn how to swim. So,
I don't know. To me that seemed more like just like a typical James Bond action move of being like clever and tricksy
mhm.
of like where he has like the bad guy right behind him pointing the gun at him and he's got Javier you know on land pointing another gun at him and his way of getting out is like I'm a badass. I can take one guy at a time. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna turn this into a fight that I can win by bringing this guy into the ice water.
Yeah.
If it's if you were to draw like broader conclusions, I would say the broader conclusion would be that like this is my lake.
Yeah.
This is Skyfall. This is like you can't like I'm gonna like not only am I a super spy, but like I'm on my home turf, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna drag you down, and we're gonna and like this is my mastery over the environment is gonna allow me to be victorious.
Well, not only his mastery over his environment, but his sort of like that place represents a very difficult period of his life. And then like the beginning of the movie when he got shot and thrown in the water, that also represented a difficult period of his life. So it's sort of if you see everything in it through an emotional lens,
Hmm.
it's like I'm more fucked up than you are. You think you can outfuck me up? I'm so much more fucked up than you that let's dance.
What? Okay, but like I don't see a parallel between like him falling into the water at the beginning of the movie and this this one scene at the very end because like this isn't the end bookend of his story. This is him like fighting and killing one more disposable mook.
Yeah, but
Like
it's a weapon that he has is
if this was like if these are like bookends where like at the very beginning of the movie he experiences this horrible trauma, then at the end it calls back to the beginning like that like it would like that the end bookend would have to be a more impactful fight than just some nameless faceless nobody or at least that's
well,
to me that's just like he'd been doing like James Bond action things for the past 20 minutes and this is just one more mook that he's killing with his
maybe that
like
Mook has his own story, Nick. You're really
was
minimizing you're really minimizing the Mook.
yeah like honestly like that's
He
like that's
he
that's
has
a
his own whole life, of experience that you're totally disregarding.
Like, to be entirely honest, a movie about being a henchman to a James Bond figure sounds like a really funny movie.
Yeah, it does.
Like that sounds uh
Like a James Bond bad guy.
just clocking into work every day with your
Yeah.
AR. You're like, oh my God, how's the weekend, Bob? Oh, it was great.
Can you believe it? He asked me to he emailed me on a weekend. Oh, he is a
He
bad guy.
he knows that I'm on holiday.
And he emailed me anyway. What a
You know,
jerk, man. They're all
and then like
probably
at
talking about how much of a jerk Javier is.
yeah, and then like like as this conversation, like in the background, like James Bond like pops out from a vent and sneaks off or whatever. Like,
Yeah. Well, okay, so, let's not talk about some mook. Let's talk about Javier Bardem because James Bond is able to defeat all the mooks easily because he had such a fucked up life, was betrayed and shot and had all these horrible experiences and overcame it. But Javier Bardem, he had just as bad of a time. He had almost identical an identical betrayal happen to him from M. And then how did he confront it?
very poorly. Like not only did he become a supervillain, but he threw away his villainous empire to in this crazy revenge scheme to get M.
Yeah. And it's sort
Like
of the same. Oh, go
like
on.
if he was he was selling the idea of being a villain to Bond and like talking up how
Yeah.
great it is and how happy he is in his current life, but like he wouldn't be doing this bullshit with like trying to get back at M if he was truly content with himself.
Hmm. Yeah, he wasn't able to see M's side.
Yeah,
And he wasn't humble. That's why we're teaching James Bond humility is because without humility and with all the great skills that James Bond has, you become that guy.
yeah. He's internalized the story about the rats where he's like, yeah, I'm out here eating my fellow rats. Like that's me. I'm gonna I'm gonna that's who I am. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a story about corruption too, and that's kind of what this whole series is kind of about is how to not let yourself become corrupted. Like what is his main objective? Is it to corrupt James Bond or is it to kill M? Because
Well, I
if
think
it was just
like
to kill M, his whole speech would be about how much he hated her. Um,
I think he's telling the speech to Bond, and
mhm.
that's a Bond centered speech. But then he like later on he gives another speech to M, and that's an M speech.
Mm. So he has
So like
multiple objectives.
yeah, like I think he kind of views Bond as a surrogate brother, like we talked about
Mm.
earlier, and
Yeah.
he wants to turn Bond against M and then go kill M.
He wants to turn Bond against M. That's what he wants above anything. Because, there was a brief moment where he had the gun in the courtroom pointed at M
Well,
and he hesitated. He
yeah,
hesitated
well,
for a second.
it did. It also seemed really weird that like he's this like crazy chess master who has
Yeah. And
this whole his
Okay.
ultimate plan is like just walking into the building with a bunch of guys with guns.
Yeah.
Why do we need to do any of this preceding bullshit?
He could have figured out a much better way to do that.
Like that okay, like if I know the plot holes are a dumb thing to talk about, but like it's like like at any point, like he could have just packed a bunch of mooks with guns into a van, driven them to this conference thing, this meeting, and then just have all the people pile out and pile into the building and start shooting people with guns. Like that, he didn't need MI6 to capture him in order to get to London. I like it's
Well,
maybe
I think,
maybe he needed to get his laptop into MI6's hand so that he could hack their system and do
well,
stuff.
remember though, at the, like his whole origin story is peace was breaking out. Hong Kong was going back to China. The war was over. The espionage Cold War battle, over there. It was over.
Mm.
He wanted it to keep going, so he started doing stuff that was causing trouble, and that's why they let him go. If he killed M, that would be all over. He wouldn't have he wouldn't have been able to get in a helicopter a la Apocalypse Now and attack a giant castle.
He likes the game.
He liked the game of it, yeah. And so it's
Yeah.
like when he was looking at M, he was like, "This might end the whole thing. The game might be all over now if I do this." And me personally, I'll have less of a desire to proceed in the game. So I'm just going to extend it by not killing her. And maybe I'm overanalyzing it. Maybe I'm overanalyzing him, you know. But that's kind of how I viewed the character is in that way of like,
Well, yeah, he doesn't seem to be particularly driven by like practical goals.
hmm
Like he doesn't seem like all that interested in like making money or building influence or having power. Like the whole movie is just him fucking with MI6
hmm
because like he gets the hard drive with all the agents, and he doesn't sell it to the highest bidder or ransom it back to England. He just releases it on YouTube, literal YouTube.
yeah.
Uh, so like he's doing this like he just wants to like see the world burn and to make M suffer. And like even at the very end, like where he's in the chapel and he's got M cornered and he like looks at it and he's like, oh no, you've been shot.
hmm
That's not good.
Yeah.
Like things could be over.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's a similar lesson to like it's a very continuous lesson actually to Quantum of Solace, where nothing will satisfy this guy. Like he's doing thing after thing after thing that's like ramps up the evil and ramps up the stakes, and he is kind of like a poker player that's just like reckless, and he just needs there's just like a gambler's thrill from.
Yeah, like he's not there to play poker. He's there to gamble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, when M died, when M was like mortally wounded, he got no satisfaction from that really. Like, because he wasn't really out. Actually wasn't really out for revenge. He was just out to play the game, keep playing the game. M dying actually, I feel like made him sad because it removed a key piece of that kept the game going. Oh, actually, okay, so I there's this whole thread about, you remember they asked James Bond what he was interested in? He said resurrection. Wait,
Hobbies. It was
oh
hobbies.
yeah, it's hot. What's your hobby? It's
Yeah.
resurrection. What do you think that means? What do you think he meant by that? That was not an
Uh
expected response.
so that like clearly that's supposed to be like a really meaningful answer. And
Yeah.
I just had like nothing. But I guess
Well,
like he definitely he like he does resurrect in this movie. Like he
yeah, yeah. So it's clearly referring to that, but
yeah, like that's the context of it.
Yeah. Also, because Bond is sort of embodied with Britain, and so I feel like he meant sort of his hobby is to resurrect Britain. Because if you look at like the way that the buildings in are in Britain, and a lot of these old towns in Europe that they go, they're like living ruins. They kind of look like the ruined city that Javier Bardem is the king of. And it's an island also. So maybe that represents sort of Britain's future if it's fully corrupted. And that's what James Bond is sort of fighting against.
I don't see Javier Bardem's island as like a parallel to Britain. Like it seems more like he's well maybe it's like where it's just a dead location, like
Hmm.
some place that's just completely devoid of real life.
Yeah. And there's like a fallen statue and stuff. It's like very clearly. And then all he does is he puts
These like servers.
these servers, but not just the servers the way that you're used to seeing them, but they're just like the skeleton of the server, only the bare necessity that he needs because he's
Yeah.
ready to like move on from there at some
Yeah,
point.
like he's like living in this stone ruin, sipping out of a $800 bottle of whiskey.
Hmm.
So excited about what a mastermind he is when he's like a rat living in a hole.
Actually, so here's an interesting thought, or at least I think it's interesting. If you remove everything else and you just like skill wise, who's better, Bond or Javier Bardem?
Uh, well, Javier Bardem is like running circles around all of MI6, and he seems to have kind of like advanced past doing like actual secret agent stuff,
Hmm.
like where he makes a big deal about like, oh, I'm like, look at all these missions that I'm doing, when he's sitting at a computer hacking things.
Yeah. And
Like
he
he's
he he's almost bored by it. He's like, "You want money? Manipulate the stock market. You want this to happen? Just click a button. It's easy.
yeah,
It's too easy. It's boring. I'm
yeah, like
bored."
yeah, it seems like the reason why he's sparring with MI6 is almost because he has no other goals to pursue.
Yeah, 'cause like well, and that's kind of the thing too is like he's sort of got two things going on. First, he needs to prove himself to himself. Like, I'm the best. I'm the best that there ever was. And he's sort of using Bond
As like an
or
audience, like here's a
yeah.
person, like if Bond respects what I'm doing, then what I'm doing is respectable
Yeah,
because
exactly. Yeah. So
yeah.
it sort of validates that. His game is a much easier game to play than Bond's game. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah,
his game of yeah.
Bond is out there like putting himself in real bodily danger, while Javier Bardem is like hiring other secret agents to do his bidding.
And doing things to the computer and stuff.
Yeah,
He's not actually in danger. And also like destroying is easier than
than building or preserving.
than building or preserving, which is what James Bond is doing. Like, and it's perfectly encapsulated like in that test he gives with the with the girl that brought him to the Chinese girl that brought him to the island, you know?
Yeah, yeah, like shooting the glass and keeping the girl alive is a difficult challenge of preservation of life.
Hmm.
And Javier is just, oh, it's so easy. Like you can just shoot the girl and the
And I
glass falls
win.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the glass falls off. Like if the goal is that, then he kind of just takes the easy way, and he's kind of trying to prove to Bond, hey, life can be this easy. Just join me. But so the symbol that I noticed was when they go to Skyfall, that
Hmm.
deer, that stag,
Yeah, I remember the deer statue.
what did that mean? Because they lingered on it, and the deer
I
looked
don't know.
cool.
I don't think it has to mean anything other than just selling the notion that this is an old grand estate. Yeah, I can't like maybe there's some deeper meaning behind it, but like to me it just seemed like oh look at this old regal building and they've got coats of arms and statues and
Yeah, I mean, it certainly evoked that kind of like old British gamesman sort of old-timey feeling. And like they
yeah like
also, yeah.
yeah and like the guy that shows up to help him is was the old game master.
Oh, I didn't catch that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like yeah, so they hunted and stuff and or they shot the teacups, which is also
Yeah.
very British with hunting rifles. Um
Yeah. He's like, yeah, and it's like, oh, like the young master has gone off and has built a career doing some probably reasonable thing.
yeah.
And then Bond comes back and he's an expert with firearms. And he's like, what do you do?
Yeah. So they showed the stag and the statue of the stag, and I was trying to figure out, I was thinking of like maturity and also remembering your roots and things like that.
Hmm.
Because you know the stags get the horns once they become of like breeding age. You know, I would say because this is the mature James Bond, and that's what the movie's trying to do.
Yeah, like this is like this whole series has been a maturing of the James Bond archetype. I don't feel the need to explain the purpose of the statue. To me, it's just a statue.
Well,
Like
let yeah.
we could frame by frame the entire interior of Skyfall and like evaluate every painting and statue we see. But
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good
let's
idea.
let's do exactly that for the next 3 hours.
Uh, I didn't write anything down in that respect about the statue until they showed a wider shot of it. When the bad guys were coming through the gate, there was the statue on one side, and then there was another pillar that presumably had another stag statue on the other, but it was crumbled off. So what does that say to you?
Like I think the actual like the house still standing. I think the movie portrays as a bad thing.
The
Like
castle?
the castle. Like I think the biggest clue is like as the castle explodes, James Bond's like, oh, I never liked that place anyway. Like it's like that's less of a clue and more just like, oh, the character in the movie is telling you what the movie is about. But there's also like all this imagery of like like there's like this of like it wasn't that well maintained as a house. Like it was pretty beat up.
Well,
Like the
there.
statues were crumbling and like there's this like almost like this like with the theme of resurrection. There's this like rising from the ashes of some older thing that needed to die. And like the house needed to get blown up. The old Aston Martin needed to be destroyed.
Uh,
Judi Dench needed to be replaced with Ralph Fiennes. Like the old growth needed to get wiped away so that we could have a build up something new
oh my
and the
gosh,
something
Nick.
and the something new is 10 more years of Daniel Craig.
10 more
uh
years.
4 years. So
Uh, I
so
am
like
so. in agreement with you. I couldn't be more in agreement. I think that is the lesson of the movie. Completely. Completely the
Yeah.
lesson of the movie. Let me finish first the statue thing and the
Okay.
house.
Yeah.
So the way I viewed the statue next to the crumbling pillar
Hmm.
is Daniel Craig represents the statue, and the crumbled pillar represents the other side, which is the guy whose face looked like a crumbling pillar. That's what kind of reminded me of a little bit, was like a deformed jaw or something, which represented to me the Javier Bardem. And if you look at the estate, the Skyfall estate versus the Javier Bardem's island of destruction, it kind of they kind of, one of them is the pillar that stayed strong, and the other one is just the one that just through weakness was destroyed. So the deer is Daniel Craig, the crumbled pillar is represents Javier Bardem. That's what I think. And if you look at the house is pretty well maintained by the gameskeeper. It's, he didn't let it he's by himself, but he didn't let it fall into destruction.
Well, yeah. Well,
He
yeah. Like
put
like
he
the like
put
the
like the lights and everything. He put like a little cover on them, and he took them all off when it was time um to use them and stuff. Like, so he was attempting to maintain it. Yeah, but
yeah. Like it's there. Like it's not like it was totally decrepit. Like my reading of Skyfall is like, oh, that this thing is this isn't some like this is a thing that was beautiful in the past and
yes.
needs to be wiped clean.
And
Uh,
that was a huge theme of the movie too, because they're saying, like, the old timey guys are like, there's no shadows left. And it's
yeah,
like, there are shadows left. Those are just the places that you're not looking. Everyone forgot about Skyfall. Everyone
yeah.
forgot about Javier Bardem.
Well, everyone forgot about James Bond.
Yeah. And that is such an incredible point too, that to it's about resurrection, basically, is what you're talking about. Because not
Yeah.
only did Jesus die and come back, but he came back much more powerful than he did before he died. And there's also another symbol of resurrection in the movie, which is, well, not exactly a snake, but a serpent. There's two serpents in the movie, in that casino place.
Oh,
They
the Komodo dragon
Yeah.
thing. Not that
So,
that like that was like no. That's that the Komodo dragon's just an action sequence.
all
I'm not
right.
giving the time. I'm not giving the time of day to the Komodo dragon.
Oh, I'm gonna turn you, because
Okay.
if you view the Komodo Dragons, because that was such a silly scene. It was like,
Yeah.
it was actually like a mark on this movie in the negative. And this movie was so great. It was like, it's one of the best action movies ever, I think. It's so good. And then the Gila or the Komodo dragon scene, it was so dumb. It was like, it turned into a weird gladiator match with a bad
Well, no,
guy. And
no.
it
This
didn't make
was
any
this.
sense too, because the guys on top could have shot him the whole time. I
Well,
don't
okay.
know.
So this is the big action moment for one of the two gadgets in the movie.
Yes, yes.
Is the
Okay.
it's this is like he like James it's the whole idea is that he's like really good at using whatever tools are his disposable and like it and it's like oh oh here you go you can have a have a gun and a radio go fuck
Hmm.
yourself. It's not exactly Christmas. um And like like both of his he's given two gadgets, and each of the gadgets has a like a big hero moment.
Yeah.
Like the big hero moment of the radio is when he activates it as he's approaching, and then when the helicopters arrive to capture Javier Bardem.
Hmm.
And the big hero moment of the gun is like to act as like he's clearly losing a fight with his bigger guy,
Yeah.
and the way he turns the fight around is by distracting him with the gun that he knows is harmless in the hands of anyone other than himself.
Yeah.
So, like to
Because
me,
it
like
has
it
the gun can only work if James
if
Bond's
if James Bond is holding
fingerprint.
it,
Yeah, James
yeah.
Bond is holding it. Yeah.
So, like to me, that this just seemed like one, it was just a really dumb scene. So I don't want to give it a lot of meaning. But
The guy
eh,
got when he got eaten by the Gila monster. I was like, and he got
he's like,
dragged into the darkness. Is like, why do they even have those?
yeah, and like why are they? Yeah, like
Like, I've
and
never
and
heard of
and
anything like a Komodo dragon pit
yeah,
as an attraction.
and the Komodo dragon is like like five times the size of a normal Komodo dragon. It's
Yes.
like its head is like at the point of the guy's waist. This thing is giant. Um,
And they're so like, and they're so aggressive too. Like, I feel like the
yeah, like
animal would not want anything to do with anybody that fell in the pit.
well, like if you have like pet Komodo dragons in your pit, like you would just feed them regularly, and reptiles don't need
No.
to eat very often. Like the idea that these things are so ravenous that like they'll yeah, but like so yeah, like it was just a dumb scene where they wanted to have an action moment for the gun gadget, and it just turned out stupid like that. Like
So
that.
why would they put my point is it's dumb, but whenever something is dumb in such a smart movie, I always assume it's there for some reason, like a
Well,
smart
like
person made this movie. They didn't put a dumb scene in there for no reason.
well, I think they wanted to craft a big moment for like because like like he gets two gadgets,
Hmm.
and
Well,
like
the Komodo dragon had nothing to do with those gadgets, though.
like yeah, like it maybe it could have been anything else. It could have been like him like you could craft a better action scene with the gun, like where like maybe the guy is like pointing the gun at Bond, and Bond like I don't know, like cuts a chandelier and it lands on him, or some other weird contrived series of events where the guy being distracted by the gun not working results in Bond winning the fight. Like I like it's just like 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 every
Or
scene doesn't need to be a winner. Like it can be a good movie with like one head scratcher scene, and like it's
well,
and
no,
like
I'm not saying to any degree like that it ruined the movie for me. I thought actually it was just entertaining based on the pure novelty of it, of a guy getting eaten by a Komodo dragon. And like maybe the
yeah.
screenwriter was just like, huh, Macau. Okay, okay, first,
What's in Macau?
how to spell Macau? Okay, we got that. Okay, now predators in Macau. Komodo dragon. Okay, that sounds bad. But here's my theory. And first off, too, like, what do you think the gun and the radio represent psychologically, like, or symbolically, I should say? Like, why do they make a point of that?
Well,
Like,
I think it's like the world is the world has moved on. We're not doing exploding pens or watch lasers anymore. Like all of these all of these like goofy things that you used to use to be a spy are now just a part of the past, and you belong with them. You belong in the past.
hmm.
Like the like if we consider the blowing up of Skyfall to be the moment of resurrection, like that's also the moment where the crazy Aston Martin gets blown up too.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I totally agree with you. And that is like a very incredibly important part, and that's why most people don't move on in their lives, is because they're too attached to their past.
Yeah.
They're too unwilling to go through that process of transformation, which is in no way pleasant. Like, if you view this movie as, and usually most people, and honestly, Javier Bardem, that was his downfall. He was unable to go through that process of transformation. And so that's why he's the bad guy, is because he was clinging on to the past so much.
Like the whole I think that's exactly what the movie's about is
So what
uh
so what's a symbol of transformation, metamorphosis and
fire.
fire? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's like an animal that's used in mythology for um
I don't know, like a snake or a spider
oh,
shedding
like
their
a
skin.
snake, a serpent sort of. Yes.
No, this is not.
And then
No.
okay, so well, just hear me out. So the gun, first of all, I view that first off as humility. Like the gun and the radio, very humble tools, but extremely useful compared to compared to an exploding pen or a ejector seat, Those are actually not that useful. But a personalized gun is way more useful than at first glance it would seem. And the reason it's useful is because it kind of represents like you. It represents like identity, and no one else can use something that's yours. So it's something that you hold that gives only you power, you know? And so I think
Yeah,
that's what the gun is sort of this, it represents James Bond as a personality,
well,
as an individual.
like his signature weapon is the Walther PPK.
Hmm.
And like almost any time he's holding a gun, it's his iconic gun that he's using.
Yeah.
So like this is just kind of like locking in his iconic weapon of choice. Be like, not only are you the only person using this thing, but if anyone else tries to use it, it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is how like close the connection between you and your weapon is. Like this is it won't betray its master kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It's something no one else can take from you and no one else can use against you.
Yeah, and also
It's
like
that
these
that's
are
your personality. That's your
yeah,
identity. It's something
and
that is so like so you that it can't that that no one can take it away from you.
and also like the kit of a gun and a radio are the kinds of things that an actual real world spy
Oh yeah,
would have
exactly.
used.
That
Like
and
these like
that's why this movie's so good. It works perfectly on two levels at all times.
yeah, and then like the ejector seat is like played for laughs.
Yeah, M is
Like
like eject me, Bond, you child.
yeah, yeah, like the Aston Martin with the ejector seat and the machine guns and the headlights is a toy. Like, hey, look at this fun thing I have. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like everything else is, like a tool, you know,
Hmm.
essential to his job.
You,
I don't I don't view the gun as being like knowing yourself. I view it as like projecting power. Like if you can, you leave Britain and you can project power and call for help. Like
hmm.
like those that's what the gun and the radio do is they allow you to leave Britain and impact the world and then call for aid. Like these are you can you are out there supporting Britain and then Britain can come support you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I view those two tools.
Yeah, but they're, highly symbolic in a lot of ways. I think that it was really good. That was a
Yeah,
really, really good
although
choice.
I don't think that the intense symbolism of the radio is quite as strong as the gun.
No,
I
but it's
think
there.
I think it's as a as a symbolic piece of kit, the gun is a lot a
Yeah.
lot more.
Okay, so just say that the gun is about trusting yourself and your identity is something that no one else can take from you and all that stuff that the gun
Okay.
represents. And then just say the Komodo dragon represents transformation and resurrection.
That's a big ask.
Yeah, I'm asking a
There
lot. I'm asking,
that's two asks.
yeah,
One is an acceptable ask, and the other one is a bigger ask. Okay,
because
okay,
James Bond had his identity stolen by this bad guy.
hmm
The bad guy was unable to use James Bond's identity in his gun, and then he was eaten because he was not true to himself. He was using James Bond's gun,
okay.
and so he was taken by the serpent, and the serpent gives, and the serpent also taketh away because the very next moment after the bad guy is eaten the by one of the Komodo dragons, what does James Bond do to escape? He jumps off of another Komodo dragon out of the pit. So whereas the bad guy not was using James Bond's gun to kill him, he was killed, and then James Bond, instead of being killed by the Komodo dragon, used it to ascend out of the pit. So it's a
That
story of it's like a symbolic story of resurrection.
I like I hear what you're saying, and I understand the point you're making.
Like, did you see
Um,
James Bond jump off the Komodo dragon to get out of the
I
pit?
thought I thought it was really stupid.
Me
I thought it was
too.
like I thought it was really dumb that he was that the Komodo dragon was it didn't even flinch. It's like it was made of metal.
Maybe the Komodo dragon even gave it a little head push to
Give him a
like
little bump. Yeah,
give him a little bump out.
I think this was I think this is just a silly action scene that didn't land,
All of that
and
symbolism down the tube for you?
all of it down the tube.
Oh man.
I don't view Komodo dragons as a symbol of resurrection. The
They're
gun
very
I view
serpent-like though. Did
the
you see its tongue?
yeah, they're lizards. Yeah, they're like I don't, but like no one like like if someone like, oh, what do you think of Komodo dragons? And your immediate thought is
A symbol of the serpent.
a symbol of
A
resurrection.
symbol of resurrection, exactly. Everyone knows that,
No,
Nick.
no, no. And like and the gun you're taking to mean something that I don't take it to mean. I view it gun as like the ability to like project your will onto the world and not like this thing of like personal identity. The like the whole like the story being told by a scene where the guy picks up James Bond's gun, like it just
And it
like
doesn't work.
I'm and it doesn't work. Like this just seems like a action scene that landed a lot more goofy than was intended.
I mean, it certainly was that too.
Yeah,
And I enjoyed
like
it.
all
I
the
enjoyed it for that. But
and
here's, yeah.
like we're not going to lean on authorial intent either because like there's no way they intended the crazy series of events that you're that you're proposing.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's just it's like this the scene is just pure popcorn to me. Like it's I don't like the Komodo dragons are silly. Like if anything, they could represent dragons like as a like because like in the opening credits, there's like actual dragons like flying around doing like Chinese New Year stuff.
oh yeah. I expected that
Um,
to be more of a part of it.
yeah. So like I
Ooh.
think the Komodo dragons represent dragons, which are danger and power and hoarding, and we've talked about dragons on this
That's
very
true.
show.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
I
I'm upset that we didn't actually have a bigger segment on that.
yeah, but like they're not hoarding. They don't seem to be like representing any primal forces. They just seem to be like a hazard of the environment that is
Mm.
being
Yeah.
used
Well,
in the
they were in a casino and they kind of represent hoarding and greed, right?
well, like the dragon or the Komodo dragons aren't sitting on a big pile of chips. Like it's they're animals there as like decoration. They're
Yeah.
it's not like there's this like ooh this subtle thing that that comes out when you start paying attention. It's like you're like from the outside trying to move heaven and earth to force meaning onto this action scene, and I'm just not seeing it.
I didn't think about it for that long. I just maybe it's just the way my brain is, but I intuitively saw them as that. Like,
As symbols of resurrection.
yes. And
I
especially
just
when James Bond, the bad guy, was taken into the darkness by one of them, and James Bond used the other one as a trampoline to jump out of the pit.
no.
Okay.
I'm just
Well, let me then let's move on then.
yeah.
Because now I'm trying to connect those two dragons, which I really like. But
mhm. And
um
we can even freeze frame, you know, every shot when they're the art gallery. See if we can find some more paintings
all right.
to
All right.
overanalyze.
You know, I
I'm
won't
sure
turn that down.
I'm sure there must have been some exterior shots of MI6 that had some statues too. We could freeze frame
Okay.
that.
All right. I'll call it. You know what, Nick? I will call your bet and I'm gonna raise you a fucking bulldog statue. A
Yeah,
bulldog figurine.
the bulldog figurine. That's a real symbol. That's that's real.
Okay. Tell me what it means. Because they tell
It's
you they in
it's
the movie they say what it doesn't mean.
I don't remember that line.
Moneypenny says, I assume she gave you this as a
Oh
symbol
oh oh
of getting a desk job.
yes, as a, yeah, a way of telling you to get a desk job.
And he said, I think it means just the opposite. What does it mean then?
Well, it's an English bulldog with the Union Jack on it. So it probably, you know, to me like it pretty clearly represents the connecting thread between M and Bond, which is duty to country.
Mm,
It seems to me like she has that on her desk to remind her of what she's doing all this for.
yeah.
And like it's like giving the the little bulldog statue to James is almost like, hey, don't forget like why you're doing all this. You know, this is
Yeah.
you're doing this for Britain. You're doing this for country. I mean, like it's
But why is it a goofy looking, it's like a funny looking statue though. It's supposed to be a joke. Why is that?
like I think it might be that like that patriotism, like sincere patriotism, is a little I don't know if old fashioned is the right word. Maybe like in a cynical world, like real sincere patriotism is a little like oh it's like oh you know oh
Yeah.
everyone's out for themselves like I'm taking jobs because I want to do X Y and Z for myself like who cares about the country, you know, the Britain will do fine without us.
Well, it's also like you're doing it for home. Home is
Yeah.
supposed to be this sort of comfy, family-oriented place. It's
Hmm.
not supposed to be the Skyfall castle, you know? Like that's not a
Yeah.
great place to live. It's supposed to kind of remind you of like the joy that home can bring, maybe, you know, not just the
Hmm.
darkness of your past. I just thought, you know, it could have been like a fearsome like lion or something, which also represents Britain. but instead they chose this cute bulldog.
I think it being a little unassuming and goofy, like what I said earlier about love of country being a silly thing to a cynical person.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because how would Javier
Javier Bar-
Bardem
he would
view that?
he wouldn't have the little ceramic bulldog. He would think that was dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one last, because this is like a giant thread that we've been on for the last half an hour or something about resurrection. But to like the Dante's Inferno sort of way of saying it, or like the Carl Jung way of saying it is you must go into hell before you can see heaven, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so the past is is destroyed. The old castle is burnt to a
Hmm.
crisp. Like it looks like hell, you know? Because that represents the past. And and it represents like the James Bond's childhood and everything. And if you view it in like a therapy way, it's like you have to go all the way to the source of all of your problems to heal and to become like a, you know, self-aware individual. And you have to face the source of all your problems, which all stem from childhood. And so he faced them, he destroyed that, and then where do they end up?
Yeah, church.
In a church. Yeah. So that's like that's like heaven to me. Is like they went down to hell, they burnt it all down, and they ascended to heaven, the chapel.
Yeah, so they clearly wanted that like this final confrontation to be like a religious experience.
Yeah. And even Javier
Uh
Bardem like scoffs at it. He's like, it had to end here.
yeah. So yeah, I think that like this final confrontation taking place in someplace sacred makes sense.
Yeah. And it's, it's spiritual. To ascend, you sort of need to destroy all your dead weight. You need to jettison your dead weight. And like,
Well, so like the sky isn't just a nice place. It's the firmament. It's the unchanging place. Like
yeah,
on Earth, like crops grow, people move around, buildings go up and go down, but like the sky remains perfect and unchanging. So like that's the to me like that's the the relevance of the sky falling. Like it's like not only is it a disaster that's happening, but like the thing that is unmoving is now crashing down around us. Like it's
yeah,
like it's every like nothing is certain anymore.
yeah.
Uh
It's total chaos and it's
yeah. Like
upheaval.
yeah, like all of the things that you could set your watch to are now unreliable. Like it's now there's nothing's
Depended on.
predictable. Yeah, or depended on.
Yeah, that's kind of what James Bond is going through. That's really the center of a lot of people when people have a crisis in their life. It's because I well, you could say that the carpet is pulled out from under you or the sky is falling.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you have no orientation anymore. You're completely lost in your life, and that is a crisis moment. As Britain, as British people, we need to stop clinging to our past and thinking that that will get us through this crisis. It's not enough. We
Hmm.
actually our past has actually become not a help, but actually an impediment to our country. And we need to actually re-resurrect, like we need to destroy our past and not use it as a crutch anymore and imagine a new Britain that's at a higher form. or else we will decay and die.
Yeah, I think like just like the previous movies, expanding the events of the movie and the characters in the movie to a greater commentary on Britain itself
Yeah.
reads well.
And I have a theory that I may have told you that's sort of just mostly an artistic theory, which is the ultimate way to begin a movie is with a plane crash. There's no better way to begin a movie. It's if you can begin a movie with a plane crash, you have the perfect recipe for a great movie. Doesn't even matter what the movie is. It could be a romantic comedy. Start that shit with a plane crash. You have a great movie.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm just saying, if you want to make a great movie, just write a first line, plane crashes. Survivors don't know where they are. They don't know who each other is. They have to figure out what to do. Perfect
All right.
start to a great movie. The perfect ending to a movie, can you guess what it is?
The christening of a boat.
At the end?
It's like I'm clearly not going to guess. I'm clearly not going to guess it. Let's hear
What
it.
about contextually?
Isn't it Bond and Moneypenny talking? Isn't that how the
No.
movie
Okay,
ends?
the perfect end to a movie, and this happens occasionally in movies. And whenever it does, I'm like, yes, they figured it out. They know how to end a movie. Perfect end to a movie is the burning down of a house.
Okay.
There's no clearer, better bow you can put on the end of a movie. It's just completion. The house is gone.
I mean, like I would say like maybe like I'm thinking of Saving Private Ryan, having a bunch of people standing around looking at a grave feels like a really complete way to end a movie.
This movie does that too.
And yeah, it does that too. Yeah.
It just lacks the visual intensity of a house burning down. So, and this is, this is purely aesthetic, but I'm asking our viewers to
Mhm.
make that movie because so far, the perfect beginning to a movie and the perfect ending to a movie, it's never been, the marriage has never happened. So I will know that the perfect movie has been made if it starts with a plane crash and it ends with a house burning down. Because
Okay.
unquestioningly, that is the best way to start a movie and the best way to end a movie. So, name one better way to end a movie.
Um, I feel like like a group of people looking at a grave or the
That's so
a
boring,
person or
though.
multiple people. It's not it's
The
it's
grave
it's not
is
very it's not very active. It's not very
not
dynamic, but
even,
it's
there's
like
no fire, even.
but you're not leading into another action scene. You're rolling credits.
I know. Well,
Like
okay,
like like
so the
like like
grave,
like
I'll
like
give that
calm
to you.
calm melancholy is like an emotion that you might want to evoke that is not like
Not me.
it's not like there's one good way to end a movie or
There
one
is one
best way
way.
to end a movie. There's
There
there's
is.
lots of different
I just
movies
gave
have
it to
different
you.
yeah yeah. If you like like the idea that there is a perfect way to end a movie is it just a
It's
silly
self-evident.
non-starter to me. Like
Exactly.
it's just a goofy statement.
Okay,
It's
I'll
like
give it.
saying
Okay,
it's like saying there's one ingredient that belongs in every recipe. Like it's just not.
and it's
It's just
salt.
not how it. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. So salt and water.
Water
It's
is the perfect way to start a recipe. Salt is the perfect thing to put at the very end
like I
of
feel like we're
food.
just like I feel like we're just playing word associations and then like staking our claim and trying to defend our immediate like our our snap judgment. Like no, the snap
Oh, this
judgment
is
is
no
perfect.
snap judgment. This is
We
this
have to
has
we have to
come
stand
from
our ground.
decades of movie watching. I've distilled this to the greatest way to
Like like
start a movie and the
like
greatest way
the
to end a movie.
the way that you're using language is just inappropriate. Where you're like, you could say that, oh, a really evocative way to start a evocative way to start a movie is with a plane crash, but like saying the best way
Yeah.
to start every movie is with a plane crash.
Well, if you want to
You
make a
know,
great movie, but not everyone does. And
if I
not everyone
if I
has made the greatest, not anyone has made the greatest movie of all time yet, because they have
if
yet.
my movie about Napoleon needs to start with a plane crash.
I mean, you can do that a million ways. You can have one of Napoleon's ancestors die in a plane crash and then back in time. And then Napoleon burns down his, house at Waterloo or something. I don't
Like
know.
like you like you sit down to write your Napoleon movie and they're like, how do we start this with a plane crash?
That's how every screenwriter I think should be approaching their scripts. Yeah.
No.
And I'm not a screenwriting teacher yet, but I'm
And
going to
like
write the book on this. Save the
I
cat?
yeah, like I know you're just being goofy right now, but like
I'm completely serious. That is, I do honestly
but
think
you
that
also
is the best way to start a movie and end a movie.
but aren't you deeply critical of Save the Cat?
No, well, yeah, because it saving the cat
It
is
has nothing to do with plane crashes.
absolutely nothing, and or houses burning down. And in fact, saving the cat gets in the way of the drama of the house burning down because then you're not paying attention to the house burning down. You're paying attention to the burning cat.
Yeah.
My book will be called Start a Movie with a Plane Crash, End a Movie with a House Burning Down. And it'll be a very short book.
Yeah, just you can use the same naming convention. You could title the book "Crash the Plane."
Crash the plane. Yeah, because think about it. Lost, the greatest TV show ever made, starts with a plane crash. Alive, Batman Returns, or wait, Batman, the third Batman in the Batman series.
Game of Thrones
Game of Thrones, not to my
definitely starts.
recollection.
No.
But that's
It
why
was
it's not as successful as Lost. It's a good show.
it's way more successful than Lost.
Well, but it didn't start with a plane crash.
So it's so by the metric of like starting with a plane crash, it's
Yeah.
not successful.
Now that has now become the metric. Yeah.
That's like okay. I think that the discussion has fully derailed at this point.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, okay, I'll give it to you. Looking at a grave at the end of the movie is a good denouement after the house burns down. We'll add that. Okay, that is the
Okay.
perfect way to roll the credits. Is
I mean, it's no, there's no perfect way to do anything. There's like here's a good thing to do. Here's like if you're going for like melancholy finality, then you can do that. If you're going
yeah.
for if you're going for something else, maybe it's two people kissing at a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's movies are different, and what's good for one movie is
No. The medium is the
different than what's
message.
good for another movie.
And the medium
Like
requires
it's not like every movie is just slowly getting closer to the perfect movie.
I
That is
that's
all
actually
movies to all people.
that could be. That could be.
Is the plane crash and the house burning down.
And then after the house burns down, everyone looks sadly at a grave.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a grave to the house. I don't know. Okay, so speaking of graves, it was interesting to me that they revealed James Bond's father and mother's names.
I
What
yeah.
did
I don't know. I don't think that piece of lore needed to exist. I think that was.
well,
I
I
don't know,
think it
maybe he was getting some closure out of that, but like I don't.
well, I think yes, there's two thoughts I had about it. The first thought was, well, that was unimpressive. And
Yeah.
it's the whole Quantum of Solace thing where it's like, you know, you finally reach the secret at the end and it's like, oh, Andrew. His name's Andrew. Okay. Who cares?
well, it's like if something's a mystery forever, then just revealing it to be something normal is like a letdown. Like if at the end of The Usual Suspects, Kaiser Sose was just some guy named Steve that
Yeah.
hadn't been previously addressed in the movie, then it would be a it would just mean nothing to the audience.
Well, I think that's
And
the point, though.
in the same way that this grave, yeah, like this grave is just like, oh, James Bond's parents are just two normal people,
Yeah.
like it's just
The
maybe
fact that it
maybe
was a mystery gave it the power.
it was never like it's not even a mystery. It's just like it's just it
Yeah.
like what's what is James Bond's favorite brand of shaving cream? Like it's just not like James Bond's childhood is just never relevant to any James Bond story.
Yeah.
Like that's why this movie feels like the end of a trilogy is because they're drumming up all of this old history that isn't really addressed in any other one of the films.
Well, I think that's the experience, though, that because they talked about how James Bond is an orphan, and so M is kind of his adopted mother. Orphans have this particular, they're born with a particular mystery, right, in their lives, which is who is my who is my real dad, or my
Mm.
real mom. And you know, the advice is usually don't go seek them out. Like they're not your parents for a reason, right? Um, but they end up doing it a lot of times. And
Okay.
when they finally meet their real dad or their real mom, it's a total disappointment because it's like,
Uh,
oh, the mystery of who these people were gnawed on me for so long. And then when I finally met them, it didn't answer any of the questions that I wanted it to answer, you know?
mhm.
And I think that's kind of what it was saying is like the that the sat you as an audience you don't get the satisfaction that you were expecting for knowing who James Bond's parents were.
Uh,
And I know you weren't even expecting that satisfaction, but we were going to James Bond's home, and at first, like this guy shows up, and you think that's James Bond's dad, and then he says, "Oh no, they died," and so you're still wondering who were they? Who were they? Who were there? Who was James Bond's parents?
I don't think anyone cares who James Bond was before he became James Bond. Like that's not what the character's about. The character's about his wacky James Bond
Yeah, but you
adventures.
kind of want to know who this guy is, you know. You're kind of this whole movie series is sort of like giving you the promise
Well,
of
like in Casino Royale, like that's his origin story movie. Like that's like oh this is
exactly.
his and
Yeah.
and the movie starts and he's already a super agent, you know.
Hmm. Well,
Uh
and what it's saying in like a grand way, I think, is like England's history, England's past is sort of like James Bond's parents. It's like they don't really mean anything to the modern day. Forget them. Basically, I think that and I'll end it with this, just the way that you would want in an ending, us contemplating a grave. If you think of Britain as the history of Britain, when does it begin?
I mean
Like of
that's the
modern
whole
Britain.
oh modern Britain. Well probably the end of the Roman occupation.
I
Like
would
that's
say
when
1066 is what a lot of people would say.
oh Hastings.
Yeah. And what happened on in the Battle of Hastings? Who
That
attacked the
was
French? Or sorry, I gave it away.
yeah
Who
that was
who attacked?
the Normans coming
Yeah,
in. Yeah.
The French basically.
Yeah,
And then who was James Bond's mom?
French.
She
Something
was,
like Delacroix something.
yeah, Delacroix. So I think what that is saying there is if James Bond represents Britain, was the Battle of Hastings. And so James Bond's mom was French. James Bond's dad was Anglo.
Scottish.
Scottish. Yeah.
So he's not even actually British.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like in no other James Bond media is he really portrayed as being anything other than British.
Yeah. So all I'm really trying to say is like that gravestone right there
The
represents the birth and death of the modern Britain, and that James Bond, this movie is actually saying something truly epic, which is Britain needs to become a new Britain and forget the old Britain.
mm,
I guess I'll end this episode with just repeating once again for anyone out there that wants to make the perfect movie, start it with a plane crash and end it with a house burning down.
and at some point in the middle you have to save the cat.
And that was the Mythic Movie Maker podcast.